Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we have Ant-Man from Marvel Studios. Yes, this is one of the not. It's kind of the follow-up to the second Avengers film. It's the last film, I believe, of Phase 2, but it's incredibly important considering that it's technically the introduction of a brand new character, not one of the established Iron Man, Thor, or Captain America characters. But it's hugely important to the future of what's to come in the third phase of the Marvel Universe and Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame especially. Um, Pym Particles, Hank Pym, Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, plays a huge part in their ability to defeat Thanos. Again, if you haven't watched the films, I'm spoiling a little bit, I guess, but you've gotten a few years now, so it's time. If you have Disney Plus, I imagine you do if you're watching this. It's time to start digging into the entire Marvel MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe collection of films. 23 of them. Not all of them are on Disney Plus just yet. Infinity War, I don't think, is on. But yeah, they will eventually. Give them a few more months. But yeah, no, this one's definitely on here. So, because I just watched it. It's the first time I watched it in a long time. Last time I did a marathon of films leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. So, yeah. This is one of the more unique films in the collection, the series, the phases, because it's more of a heist film, and the hero is pretty much a bad guy, at least to start off with, at least in the eyes of the law. He's a good guy who just kind of makes his way in robbing places because he's really good at it. And you see that. You picture Scott Lang, you picture Paul Rudd as a goofy, funny kind of guy, which he is. It's perfectly played by Paul Rudd. And honestly, I think his depiction here in the film has influenced the way he's been depicted in the comics since then. Yeah, Scott was always a little bit more casual, loose than Hank Pym when it came to the Ant-Man role, which he inherited in the comics as well, through one means or another. But yeah, his humor, at least in the comics, if you read the comics, or if you haven't, please read. They definitely changed Scott a little bit to be a bit more fun, more comedic in nature in the comics. I'm not going to spoil anything for this movie. You've already seen it more than likely because it's one of the bigger, more recent films. Or if you haven't seen it, you probably don't care to see it in the first place. But I'm going to tell you, it's even if you're not into the Marvel films, you can still appreciate Paul Rudd. The visual effects are actually really good. I'm sure when it came out, it was still one of those, it has to be in 3D releases, and I know I saw it in 3D when it came out, just because of the forced, small and large perspectives, moving between those really quickly. Him first experiencing being Ant-Man and being so tiny, just in a bathtub filling with water. It doesn't sound terrifying at all from our perspective, but it's pretty scary when you're only like half an inch tall. So yeah, it's visually stunning. One of the things I was surprised at, which I always usually have a problem with, is when they de-age characters. The movie starts off, with a cold open before the titles, in 1989, and you get to see Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas, much younger, standing alongside an older Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, Howard Stark, and another character, I can't remember his name, but he's kind of one of the bad guys. He's been around for a little while. I don't know if he has a correlation in the comics, but he's kind of just look at him, he's a bad guy. But yeah, you see Michael Douglas de-age, and usually they don't. It just seems very plastic to me when I see de-age characters, and for them, yeah, I maybe it was different in the theaters. I don't know. I can't remember if he looked fake back then, but he looks perfect. He looks not computerized. Maybe that was intentional because they gave him a goatee and gray hair, made him look older, a little waddle there. Definitely looks older as compared to 1989, but maybe he just looks good no matter what. I don't know, and they just cleaned him up a little bit and made him young. All I know is that obviously they de-aged him, but he looks astonishingly good using those effects, which, like I said, most movies don't do too well at them, even the Marvel movies. But yeah, watch it for the effects. Watch it for the heist element of the film. There's at least more than one heist in this movie, and it's and speaking of heists, you gotta give it up for his supporting cast. Why can't I say his name? But they're hilarious, and they're meant to. You figure that Paul Rudd would be the funniest element in this movie. Not the case. So, if you're expecting a good time, you're gonna get it from Ant-Man. It's funny, it's full of action, great effects, and a cast that is really, really fun to watch. So, that's not surprising. So, I'm gonna finish it off right there. I'm not really telling you something you don't already know if you've seen the movie. Again, if you haven't, it's time to check out the MCU, and especially Ant-Man. Don't toss it away, because it's if you want to see the entire story and where certain things all came from by the time Avengers Endgame rolls around, a lot of it relies on Hank Pym and Scott Lang, the Ant-Man, so, and the Wasp. But we won't talk about her just yet. So, all right, here we go, picking tomorrow's Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, 291. 291. Did I? Okay, I've done enough of these that I think all the numbers I've had already, but I know I haven't, because we still have, out of 267. There we go. 291. Oh, there's a big chunk that I have not seen before. Oh, this is a very recent movie. Just last year, 291, the Kim Possible movie. Kim Possible. It wasn't a theatrical movie, so it had to be a Disney Channel movie. I'm gonna make sure, because this is really recent, and we got a few minutes here. I'm gonna make sure that they have this movie, and you can sit here along with me. Kim Possible. Oh, make sure. It's the live action one, 2019. Yeah. But I don't think it was in theaters or anything. It's a Disney Channel live action take on it, based on the animated series. So yeah, let's meet up back here tomorrow with the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge and the Kim Possible movie from 2019. All right, see you then.